So let me kind of share this with a story. So a couple years ago, my family and I, we moved to a new area, which meant our kids were going to a new school. Now, any parents listening and watching, like there's this nervous energy anytime you're going to the first day of school, let alone the first day of a new school where you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
So we walk Marla and Sam, those are our kids, to school. And, my wife and I, we drop them off and we're like, you guys got it. It's going to be awesome. We're trying to pump them full of like positive energy and thoughts. But in the back of our minds, as soon as we dropped them off, we both looked at each other and we're like, please let this be a good day. Like, please let them just feel settled, like. So anyways, fast forward, end of the day, Amy and I go and we pick them up. And I'm watching. And then my daughter, Marla, she comes out first. And I'm kind of like trying to look at her face to gauge like how the day went. And she comes out, she's got this huge smile on her face. And so I'm like, Marla, like, how was it? And she's like, Dad, this is the best school ever. And I'm like, why? Tell me. She's like, okay, well, you know how I used to go to Montessori school? And I said, yeah. She said, there's a girl in my class who used to go to Montessori school too. I'm like, what? That's crazy. You got that in common. She's like, yeah, but Dad, you won't believe this. You know how I love horses? I said, well, yeah, I think you'd marry one if you could. And she said, yeah. She said, there's the same girl loves horses too, and she rides as well. I'm like, oh my gosh. And she's like, you won't even believe this. She said, you know the new stable that I'm riding at? I said, yeah. She said, her mom owns the stable. She said, Dad, this is the best school ever. Okay, time out. Her whole framing that this was the best school ever was because she made one meaningful relationship. And that's the whole lesson for all of us. If we can help our members form one meaningful relationship, it can make all the difference in their experience, because now they don't feel alone. They don't feel like they're, the newbie. They feel connected. They feel seen. They feel heard. And more importantly, if we can help them form relationships that can also help move them down their journey faster and easier, it becomes a more rewarding experience. And that's what contributes to this overall positive experience that we're talking about in that first 30 days.
Wow. How powerful. Yeah. It wasn't like the lesson was good or the teacher was good. It had nothing to do with the school itself.
Exactly.
Yeah. What a wonderful story to illustrate that.
Yeah. And I think oftentimes people say, well, Stu, how can I do that? Well, there's a whole bunch of tactics that you can implement to help, your members form meaningful connections. But I'll just give you one that is like a home run. If you have any type of community where people are talking to one another, maybe it's just a simple Facebook group, which is totally fine, but we'll just use that as an example. What I want to encourage you to do is to have one post where people can introduce themselves. And now here's the thing. You don't want to just say to somebody, hey, come jump into the group and introduce yourself. Because any of the introverts that are watching and listening know that's like the worst thing that you could ask somebody. Yeah. Like, I don't want to come into the group and say, hey, my name is Stu. Let me tell you why I'm awesome. I'm awesome for this reason and that reason. And blah, blah. Like, nobody wants to do that.
Give me the mic.
Exactly. Nobody wants to do that. So then they're not going to. So the way in which you combat that is you give them 3 different questions as an example that all they need to do is answer the questions. So then it follows the same format. So now they don't feel like they're, gushing about themselves or bragging about themselves. And the questions you want to ask are questions that are going to help form connections with others in your membership. So there's all kinds of connection points. These are, I call them connection points. Like a connection point might be the fact that, Steve, you and I were parents. We both have young kids, right? That's a connection point, right? Because we can relate. We can talk about like, your daughter, you were telling me your daughter's birthday's coming up. She's going to hit double digits. Dude, that's a significant milestone. Like my daughter just went through that, And so that's a connection point. Or a connection point might be where somebody lives. Like imagine if, you find out that you're in this membership and there's literally somebody in your town that's in the same membership. Maybe they would then want to connect and go for coffee or mastermind together or whatever it might be. Or what if in your onboarding, you asked, hey, do you have a podcast? Yes, I do. Do you welcome guests on your podcast? Yes, I do. Or would you like to be a guest on others' podcasts? Yes, I would. And now you can start playing matchmaker where people are connecting, they're collaborating, perhaps they're doing business with each other. Now all kinds of magic begins to happen. So there's all kinds of ways to facilitate this, like I said, but the bottom line is in that first 30 days, if we can help them form a meaningful connection, magic happens.
That's powerful. That's huge. That